Hey everybody, so yeah, just having a look today at some of the treatments I utilise in terms of potassium permanganate, just in terms of treating fish that have gone off slightly. They might have a bit of bacterial issues or just gone off their food and a little bit unhappy, or gill fluke issues. So just in terms of this bank here, it is one bank that I have set up fairly recently with and played around with the sump, so I suspect I've got some issues going on in terms of the water quality, but we've just got some unhappy fish. You can tell they're sort of cowering, some of them are gone a bit dark, and so yeah, just looking at treating these guys with potassium permanganate. So what I'll do is, of course, I don't want to run potassium permanganate through the sump at all, so I'll switch the pumps off. I'll drain these tanks just down to the 60 litre mark, and then I'll be adding 9 mils of potassium permanganate, the stock solution, to each of the tank, and leaving them for probably, I mean, you can leave them for up to probably a couple of hours at that level, but I'll probably just do one hour, and then look to drain the tanks out and do a water change. So we'll get underway and I'll come back to you soon. Right, so we've turned the pumps off to the sump, so the sump's just ticking over there on its own, and we've drained these tanks down to the 60 litre mark. So what we'll do now is just take some of the water from the tank and into a container, and what we'll do is measure out. I'm going for 9 mils of stock solution, so we'll use the just under 1 teaspoons of the potassium permanganate solution. So we'll mix that up and get it into each of the tanks. So you can see there we've added the 9 mils of PP to those 3 tanks. Just got this last one to do. That's simply a case of just literally pouring it in, mixing it around. So that's the treatment started, and yeah, we'll keep an eye on them. Yeah, I'll probably try and leave them for maybe a couple of hours, but yeah, an important thing, if you see the fish at the surface gasping, it means they've obviously got issues with the treatment and suffering in terms of their gills. So do an urgent water change or neutralise it with hydrogen peroxide, but touch wood, these guys done it many times, so these guys will all be fine, and we'll start doing the water change in a couple of hours time. So here we go. We've drained out all the potassium permanganate out of the tanks and started refilling. At the same time, of course, we've got fresh water coming into the sump in terms of a big water change, and now we'll just start filling these tanks again, and in a couple of hours time give the guys a bit of a feed, because they should be a lot happier and a lot more vibrant. When I drain out the potassium permanganate, I just take it down till there's about sort of less than 10% of the water volume there. It'll get diluted that much, it won't really have an effect going forward, but you don't have to drain, the absolute last little piece out, but yeah, certainly, yeah, they should be looking fine. We'll check on them in an hour's time and see how happy they are. So here we are. Actually ran out of time last night to video afterwards, but done it again. Just checking on them this morning, so you'll see that certainly all the fish are a lot more vibrant and keen to feed, and yeah, certainly have significantly benefited from the treatment. So yeah, that's treating the fry and Discus juveniles with potassium permanganate. I'm not a huge user of chemicals and treatments, but certainly potassium permanganate is a really handy tool in the toolbox. So yeah, be very careful with it, but don't be scared to use it, and yeah, it'll certainly make your dealing with any issues a hell of a lot easier. Cheers for that, guys. Catch you later on.